Hey there, it's Walt here. I've been thinking a lot this week about the stories that we tell ourselves. I was working with a client of mine, an executive coaching client who's a coach in her own right, powerful professional woman. And she was sharing with me the challenges that she was experiencing. She had two elderly parents, one of whom was in the hospital. She had a number of personnel challenges going on in the office. She wasn't feeling well herself. She had some health challenges in her own right. And she was sharing with me how she felt like she was not performing, that she wasn't producing, that she wasn't achieving what she wanted to achieve, how she felt like she was a failure, how she felt like she was letting other people down, that she wasn't doing her best work. And she went on and on and on about how she really felt like she should and could be doing a whole lot better. And when she paused, I asked her, I said, Denise, if one of your clients were coming to you with this story, what would you say to them? And she said, oh, well, I would tell them that they have a lot going on in their life and that they need to be kinder to themselves and that perhaps even to take some time off, some time away from work so that they can take care of what they need to take care of. And I let that coaching silence just hang there for a moment. And of course, she got it in that moment, that she was telling the story that in light of everything that she had going on in her life, she had to push forward, that she had to produce, that somehow she was letting everybody down, even in the face of the challenges that she was experiencing. I was thinking about this last week. We were in the Alps, one of the great mountain ranges in the world, climbing one of the great mountains of the world, and we got turned back just 300 feet from the summit. And we got turned back because the winds were blowing at about 70 miles an hour and it was snowing hard and it was cold and unpleasant and the visibility was horrible. But when we got back down, we started telling the story about how we had failed, how it hadn't worked out well, how maybe we're out of shape and old and decrepit and maybe we're just not at the top of our game anymore. And we were tired and we went to bed, and the next day we woke up and realized that we had had a wonderful time in one of the great mountain ranges of the world, and really it had been just late in the season, and we had come from sea level to nearly 14,000 feet in 36 hours, and the weather was really, really bad. And so maybe it wasn't that we were failures. Maybe it was that just the circumstances didn't work out, that maybe in the future we'd do things a little bit differently. And so often we tell these stories about ourselves, that we're not good enough, that we're not performing at a high enough level, that somehow when things don't work out, that we are failures rather than the circumstances themselves were challenging, or perhaps the project needs to be approached in a slightly different way. And I think that for many of us, we are so much kinder to others with the stories we tell than with the stories we tell ourselves. We're kinder to others in the recommendations we make about self-care, about self-nurturance, and we don't take those stories to heart ourselves. So I think the challenge for me, because I drive pretty hard, pretty fast, pretty constantly, is to take the time and realize that when things aren't working, maybe it's not that I'm a failure, but that it's not working because there are certain things that perhaps I could approach differently. Perhaps I even could take some time away. Perhaps I could even be a bit kinder to myself. So my invitation to you this week is to look around at the stories you tell about yourselves, about your challenges, about the things that you're experiencing difficulty around, about your level of performance in the world. And perhaps just take some time and to step back and to nurture yourself and to be kind to yourself, to be gentle to yourself. It's not you that's the failure, but perhaps it's just not the day. Make it a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you soon.